हरि ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम नमस्तुते व्यास विशालबुद्धे फुल्लारविन्दाय तपत्र नेत्र येन त्वया भारत तैलपूर्णः प्रज्वलितो ज्ञानमयः प्रदीपः। ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ध्यानमूलं गुरुर्मूर्तिः पूजामूलं गुरुर्पदम् मंत्रमूलं गुरुर्वाक्यं मोक्षमूलं गुरोः कृपा। ओम कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। सद्गुरु भगवान की जय, सच्चिदानंद भगवान की जय, कृष्ण भगवान की जय, गीता महारानी की जय। हरि ओम। We are discussing same Srimad Bhagavad Gita and 15th chapter, 7th sloka. Mavaivansa jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana manaha sasthani indriyani prakriti sthani karsati. An eternal portion of myself, having become a living soul in the world of life, draws to the senses with the mind for the sixth, abiding in nature. This is how the world is created, and this is how the truth is. Truth, that means eternal existence, which cannot be divided into beings. Yesterday we saw, in essence, the jiva is identical with Brahman. The difference is on account of delusion or imagination or superposition. The illusion of difference is due to the limiting adjunct or principle. The mind. Mind is a dividing factor, because mind itself is a continuous flow, so it is not steady. So it creates, and mind only is everything. So mind is taken as the dividing factor. Even as the illusion that the ether in the pot is different from the universal ether is caused by the, it is difference is caused by the limiting agent, that is pot, that is the pot. Jiva Brahma Bheda Bhranti. Jiva Brahma Bheda Bhranti. The delusion of the distinction between the individual and the Supreme Being is removed when the limiting adjunct is annihilated. That means when the pot is broken, which was serving as an individual dividing factor between the outside ether sky and inside pot ether. The pot was the dividing factor. When the pot is destroyed, there is no difference between the inside ether and outside ether. So here can we say, if the body is destroyed, so Jiva becomes one with the absolute truth? Can we say like that? No. Body, gross body is destroyed means the subtle body remains. So that idea never is destroyed. That's how the destruction of physical body is not enough. By that only we see the difference between the different phases, of course, but that is not enough. That identity as I, which has been the real dividing factor, that should be annihilated. Jiva Brahma Bheda Bhranti. The illusion of the distinction between the individual soul and the Supreme Being is removed when the limiting adjunct mind is annihilated. It is not the physical body, it is the mind. And mind will be annihilated only when the chitta is destroyed completely by the knowledge of fire of knowledge. In deep sleep, the mind rests in a subtle state along with all the sanskaras, impressions and vasanas, tendencies in its cause, primordial ignorance. Again it comes back from this state of ignorance when you return to the waking state. If the cause ignorance is destroyed by the knowledge of the fire self, its effect mind is also annihilated. Mind will be annihilated only when its cause is destroyed. The cause is ignorance. Unless and until the ignorance is completely gone, the mind will not be destroyed. So what is that ignorance? I am the body, we have seen. Ego, I, which changes every moment. As I am the body, I am the senses, I am this, I am that. Every moment it changes. That's how the mind also changes. So unless and until the ignorance is completely destroyed, the mind will not be destroyed. Just as the tortoise stretches out its head and feet, which were in the state of laya, absorption in its body, kurmangani sarvasa. So also the individual soul stretches out its mind and senses, which were in a state of absorption in the primordial ignorance in deep sleep, to enjoy the sensual objects in the waking state. A ray of the Supreme Being enters nature, draws to itself the five senses and the mind. In this verse, the formation of the astral body, linga sarira, and sanskara sarira is described. Sanskara sarira means the individual soul, the subtle body. Sanskara sarira, that is called carrying body or puryastak. So these two subtle bodies, one is subtlemost, that is causal body, linga sarir, and the other is grosser than this causal body, that is subtle body, and still grosser is the physical body. And mind dwells in all these three bodies. As ego, ego thinks I am superior, supermost, I am the linga sarir, sometimes very rarely. And it always, almost always, it dwells in the physical body, and sometimes it thinks of the subtle body, the eightfold body, and in this way mind goes on changing. That is called the ego. In this way, this Shruti declares, sa eva iha pravishta anakho premyaha anakhagrevyaha tad srištva tadeva anupravisat. This is what we very often discuss. Sa esa iha pravishtaha anakhagrevyaha tat srištva tadeva anupravisat. That Supreme Being itself, having created this aggregate of the body, tat srištva, aggregate of this gross body, from the head to the toe, entered this body in the form of the jiva. What is jiva? From different angles it is defined differently. Even then, the essence we can say jiva, jivatiti jiva, means one who is moving. Moving body is called jiva, who has got a movement. So movement in different way we can understand. From one angle movement is caused by prana. Some different angle, still different angle we can say movement is caused by the action and reaction. That is the root cause. And from other angle we can say movement is caused because of subconscious mind, because it is the seed form. It gives a momentum to everything to move. In this way, from different angle we can see different bodies as the jiva. Jiva can be ego with this fourfold mind. Jiva can be prana also with the body, whole body. Jiva can be mind with the whole body also, five senses and its work. In this way, jiva can be understood in many different ways. Anyhow, this jiva is the superimposed form of the absolute that is here. So, how it enters? According to Vedanta, there are 19 principles according to Vedanta. But Sankhya says differently. Other schools of thoughts, they count differently, which is the five organs of all knowledge. That means five senses of knowledge, the five organs of action 10, the five vital airs, prana, apana, vyana, samana and udana, the mind, intellect, chitta, the subconscious mind or the unconscious mind, subconscious or unconscious. That means unconscious in sense it is not aware always of itself. That's how it is called unconscious, and subconscious because it is under the consciousness. So subconscious. And you see, language is always faulty, we have seen. So anyway, we understand it as we use it, so it means. And egoism also. So in this way, 19, we will have to conclude that the words, the five senses and the mind point to the collection of the remaining 13 principles also. Without these, other principles cannot be accumulated. That's how he said, Manah Sasthan Indriyani. 5 as the mind sixth. It collects all the material causes from the nature, material causes which constitute the body. Ansa mameva anso. What is ansa? This does not mean here a particle or portion which has been cut out. It is not cut out. Ansa means it is not cut out. He is clarifying it. It is like the answer of the ether in the pot. It is not cut out. It assumes a form of cutout because of its adjuncting factor, means demarcating lines. That's how it assumes as if it is a cutout, but it is not so. Cutout, it is not the cutout. It is the answer of the ether in the pot. The ether is not cut out, but still remains the whole ether. It sustains its universality even though it assumes a individual identity. The inside, the ether inside the pot is never divided from the, or it is not different from the outward ether. It keeps up continuously its identity with the outward ether, though it is seen as individual identity by the demarcating lines of the pot. So it is not really a cutout. In this way, we have now got some ideas about the meaning of this jiva. Mamevanso jiva loke jiva bhutah sanatana manah sashthanindriyani prakriti sthani karsati. How the being, individual being is seen, which is different from the absolute as well as not different from the absolute. It looks like different from the absolute, and in reality it is not different. The beautiful example of pot sky and outer sky is enough to understand this idea. Now we shall see Sariram Jadavapnoti Yachapyutkramati Swarah Grihitvetani Sanyati Vairugandha Nivasayat. You see, though it creates a body, yet it remains different from the body. That is what we have to see clearly. When the Lord as the individual soul obtains a body, creates a body, how the body is created we have seen in the last sloka. When it obtains a body, and when he leaves it, he takes these and goes with them as the wind takes the sands from their seeds, means from the flower, etc. The wind is known as, in Sanskrit, it is termed as Gandhavaha. पवन को गंधवह कहते हैं, गंध को वहन करता है, इसलिए गंधवह. The wind is named as Gandhava, the carrier of this, the fragrance. So just as the wind carries the fragrance from the flower and it distributes everywhere, similarly, this body, of course, is just like a flower, and its essence, the inner soul, is taken from this body by the Gandhava, which is acting as the wind, the sanskaras, the chitta, with a fourfold mind. So it carries that inner subtle body with all these sanskaras from this gross body, carries to other places. That means what happens after the death, that we shall see afterwards. But from this physical body, it is taken out and carried out by the subtle body. Here is a description of how the subtle body leaves the gross body. Gurudev's book, What Happens to the Soul After Death. Sometimes when discussing in our Yoga we were discussing like that, this subject, what happens to the soul after death, the subtler realms, and the karma theory, and how the impressions are carried, the eightfold body, etc. We discussed so analytically. The same thing is described here. When the gross body is destroyed, the subtle body is not destroyed. It carries all the impressions collected by this mind, subtle body, by the help of gross body and senses. It is carried to other realms. When the jiva, the lord of the aggregate of the body, that means the boss. When the jiva here is the lord of the aggregate of the body, that means totality, and the rest takes up this body, he brings in with him the mind and the senses. When he leaves this body at the dissolution, he takes with him the senses and the mind, just as the wind carries with it the fragrance from the flowers. Wherever he goes and whatever form he assumes, he again operates through the senses and the mind. That means mind, the fourfold mind, that means it is taken as ego and mind too, and prana also. In this way, 3 and 5 units of elements, sabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha. In this way, eightfold body goes out of this body, out of this gross body. This is how the jiva, the eightfold body, he is the lord of this aggregate, the whole body. Wherever it goes, it takes all these with it. Lord means Yachapyutkramati swara Grihitvetvani sanjati vairugandhani vasa. Lord here means it is not the absolute Lord. It is here the Lord of the body. Lord Jiva, the Lord of the aggregate of the body and the rest. The self appears to be an agent or an enjoyer only when he passes or assumes a body, possesses or assumes a body. The self appears to be an agent or an enjoyer only when he possesses or assumes a body. Means a subtle body when possesses a gross body, then only he is taken as an agent or the enjoyer. That also we have seen in the 14th chapter. The Purusha enjoys only with the Prakriti, all alone he cannot enjoy. Srotram chakshuh sparsanam cha rasanam grhanam eva cha adhisthaya manaschayam visayanupasevate. How it enjoys the sense objects, that is narrated here. Sariram jadavapnoti jachapi utkramati isvara. Whatever different bodies it assumes or possesses, it takes all these collected impressions from this gross body, and there it also enjoys the same. Just as the wind takes the fragrance from one flower and gives to the other objects, you smell it at a distance through the help of the wind only. In this way, wind serves the carrying body. Similarly, this subtle body is a carrying body, and it carries all these impressions from one body to the other. And how it enjoys, that is what he is explaining. Srotram chakshuh sparsanam cha rasanam ghranam eva cha. All these 5 units, the eyes and ear, the skin, touch, rasanam, the tongue, ghranam eva cha, the smell, adhisthaya manaschayam. He has given already. Mind is the 6th sense. Adhisthaya manaschayam visayanupasevate. Presiding over the ear, the eye, touch, taste and smell, as well as the mind, it enjoys the objects of the senses. Objects of the senses. How it enjoys the sense objects. Mind, through these 5 units, it gets contacted with the sense objects, and then that contact is called enjoyment. Matra sparsastu kaunteya शीतोष्ण सुख दुखदाह. सुख दुख तभी हम अनुभव करते हैं जब मात्रा स्पर्श करता है. मात्रा मीन्स ऑल दीज 5 शब्द स्पर्श रूप रस गंध. ये जब विषयों के साथ कांटेक्ट करता है तभी हम सुख दुख को अनुभव करते हैं. कौन अनुभव करता है? मन ही अनुभव करता है. और वो मन को फिर हम जब when we analyze what is mind, that is something else. As a whole, we can say mind, the thought process. This is how the body enjoys. Body means the mind. Mind means with the help of 5 senses. Presiding over the 5 senses, that is ear, eyes, touch and taste and smell, as well as the mind. Mind is the 6th sense. It enjoys the objects of the senses. Here is a description of how the subtle body, remaining in the gross body, enjoys the objects of the senses. How? In the 14th chapter, we have seen how the nature ties of the Purusha, the self, with three qualities, and this is how the Purusa enjoys with Prakriti all these sense objects. Here the same thing is seen from different angle and is explained. The mind enjoys. That mind is nothing but the Purusa. In the Purusa when tied up with the Prakriti, then only. Or else Purusa cannot be the mind. The individual soul uses the mind along with each sense separately and enjoys or experiences the objects of the senses such as sound, touch, color, taste and smell, etc. It sits in the marvelous car of the mind, of its mind. Mind is the carrying body now, the car, the rath. It has 10 horses. देखना मन इंद्रियों का न घोड़े भगे, रात दिन इन्हीं को संयम की कोड़े लगे. 10 senses are 10 horses, and they are controlled by the charioteer, that is mind. Either it is controlled or it is set free. They are set free. So there happens accidents. Anyhow, if it sits on the marvelous car, or its mind passes through the gateway of the ear in the twinkling of an eye, and enjoy the various kinds of musics of the world. It holds the reins of the nerves of sensation, enters the domain of touch, touch the portal of the skin, and enjoy the diverse kinds of soft objects. It roams about in the hills of beautiful forms and enjoys them through the windows of his eyes forms. It enters the cave of taste by the avenue of the tongue and enjoys डेंटिक्स. डेंटिक्स क्या होता है? डेंटिक्स, डेलिकेसी. अच्छा, डेंटिक्स, palatable dishes, and refreshing beverages. It enters the forest of sense through the door of the nose and enjoys them to its heart's content. In this way, through the help of these five senses of knowledge, it enjoys the sense objects. It makes its abode in the ears, the eyes, the skin, the tongue, and the nose, as also in the mind, and enjoys the objects of the senses it gains experiences of the outer world through the mind. Experiences means it is not real experience, it is sense experience. That means the same thing by contact. That is called experience. The inner experience without the senses is different. This experience is with senses. Mind, intellect, subconscious mind and egoism, the 10 senses and the 5 vital airs. Ghranam evacha. The word cha means and. Cha, ghranam evacha. By telling and, it has included everything. Indicates that we shall have to include the 5 organs of actions, 5 organs of knowledge and 5 organs of actions, and also the fourfold inner instrument, mind, intellect, subconscious mind and egoism. In the Katha Upanishad, it is said, Atmendriya manojuktam bhaktityahur manishinaha. Bhaktityahur manishinaha. The self, the senses and the mind united the wise called the enjoyer. See, who is the enjoyer? It is clarified here. Who is the enjoyer? It is not one. It is together, the whole, together enjoy. Yes. If the lioness, generally, lioness hunts something, some prey, it kills some animals and it never eats itself. First she will share with her children, and the lion will come, it will have a share also. And the last person what is left, the lioness will enjoy. But not other lions, no. Its own family will enjoy. Family means all the cubs and the lion and the lioness together they enjoy. But that is not the case with dogs, no. Dog will not allow its puppies to share even. No. वही कहते हैं कि महात्मा का कुत्ता का धर्म है, खाते वक्त अलग और बाकी सब हम सब शेयर करेंगे। भिक्षा के समय पर अलग अकेला जाएंगे, जो मिला खाया बस काम खत्म। कुत्ते के धर्म। दिस इज हाउ ही सेज द एंजॉय इज ए aggregate, they enjoy together. It is the self with the senses and the mind united kingdom of the body. The wise call the enjoyer, the man of understanding. They know who enjoys. It is neither only mind nor intellect nor the senses. Together they enjoy this. So we shall see tomorrow. The next Utkramantam sitam vapi bhunjanam va gunanvitam vimudhananu pasyanti jnana chakshusaha. Tomorrow we shall see who enjoys where, how, who enjoys. Whether inside, being inside, abiding inside the body or outside the body. Utkramantam sitam vapi. whether it goes out or it stays within, abides within. Bhunjanava gunanvitam. Vimudhananu pasyanti pasyanti jnana chakshusha. How the wise people see it, who is the enjoyer, how he enjoys, but the ignorant person, they don't understand it. Analytically, we shall see tomorrow. Hari Om. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadguru Bhagavan ki jai. Satchidananda Bhagavan ki jai. Krishna Bhagavan ki jai. Gita Mata ki jai.